And now on the subject of TNA and traveling around, I wanted to ask you about the current change in the state of TNA, which is now they're pushing Wrestling Matters as the big slogan. Has that focus shifted enough for you to make that slogan more apparent in the company's product?
Well, I believe we're starting to. It's been a slow transition. I think it should have been much quicker. We're in an action society now, and, whether it's movies or MMA, people want to see more action, and that was what TNA is doing now. We just had a pay-per-view called Destination X, and it was off the chart. And I wasn't in it, Sting wasn't in it, Hulk Hogan wasn't in it, Ric Flair wasn't in it. It was our younger guys who stepped up and really put on an incredible pay-per-view. So you're going to start seeing more of that. The X division, you're going to see the heavyweight division, the knockout division. We're taking pride in our wrestling, and we're going to have more wrestling and less talk. And that's the direction we're going, because I know WWE wanted to do the opposite. They wanted to say that they're entertainment, they're no longer wrestling. But any storyline you do, any angle you're in, it always ends up in the ring at a pay-per-view. So you can't really take wrestling out of pro wrestling.
Now, you do mention, of course, that they're taking a little bit of a few steps back from storyline-related things, even though it's still there. I do want to ask just a little bit off the cuff, I guess you could say. The new gimmick for Sting, Joker Sting, whose idea was that? I'm curious about that one.
You know what? I believe Sting, I believe that they wanted Sting to kind of unravel, but I have to tell you, Sting embraced that character and made it so real. I believe that he started really turning into that character. I was blown away. I've been now I'm having a match with Sting, so the storyline is with me and Sting, and I can tell you firsthand, it was very hard not to laugh when I was in the ring with him. He was so entertaining. He was so real. I told him, when we got backstage, I said, if any Hollywood producer or director is watching this right now, they're going to see how well versed you are. That you can take yourself beyond what Sting has ever done. It was something where he just let himself go and it worked.
Now, I want to ask you also a little bit about some of the traveling that you do at TNA. You've had a chance to go work some programs in Japan, and you got to wrestle Yuji Nagata and a few other Japanese guys. So I wanted to ask you, is there anybody in Japan or in Mexico or anywhere in the world that you'd love to wrestle that you haven't had a chance to wrestle yet?
You know what, man, I'll tell you, I got to wrestle all the best guys over there. I had a blast. It was really wearing on me. I'm signing a new part-time deal with TNA this month, actually today. Thank God. So I'm going to be having a reduced schedule, but it also has a lot to do with me training for the Olympics. But I can tell you, you know what? I am more intrigued on wrestling guys in TNA like Robert Roode, James Storm, guys that are up and coming that I haven't wrestled yet. Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, young guys that I know that can step up to the plate. I can have 5-star matches with, and Sting and I are going again. And even though it's fresh because of Sting's new character, we're doing the same thing over again. So for me, I believe this year is going to be new and fresh, and I'm going to be wrestling a lot of other wrestlers I've never wrestled before. And last year I had the ability, thank God, to do the top 10, go through the top 10, and I love that because there were guys I never wrestled before, and those guys stepped up, and I had some really great matches with guys I never thought I'd ever wrestle. So I'm real excited about this year.
Now, you mentioned you're getting ready to start training more hardcore for those Olympic trials with your new contract with TNA. So tell us, give us an update on how training is going for the trials right now, and how confident are you that you will make the team this year?
Well, I've already lost 25 pounds. I am literally I'm a half a workout away from making weight. I didn't want to get this light, but I really stepped into it heavy and hard because I got excited, and I probably should have went a little slower and tested the waters, and I got a couple injuries right away, a hamstring and a little bit of Achilles tendon, but it was from overtraining, and that's what I need to realize. I can make the team, and God willing I do, but I need to realize what my limitations are with my training. Sometimes I do things over the top, and I do a little bit too much, but that's the way I am. That's the way I trained for the last Olympics, but I'm 42 years old now. There are things I can't do now that I could do then. But I'm a lot smarter now, and I believe I'm going to be a lot more selective about what I do and how I approach the match. They're not going to be high-scoring matches, but they're going to be matches that I'll win. So I'm excited. Ever since I started my new food company, Angle Foods, about a year and a half ago, I've been on the Angle Food program, and I feel like I'm 25 again. So, like I said, I lost 25 pounds, and it's been working out extremely well. So I'm right on par right now. I got about 8 months until the U.S. Open. The training's going extremely well. I'm doing this is the definite, and I will show up at the U.S. Open. Hopefully, God willing, I win.
All right, now, I wanted to ask your thoughts also on the current WWE program lately that they've been doing with Vince McMahon stepping down, Triple H taking over, and CM Punk assumingly leaving the company with the belt. What do you think about this new direction that WWE is taking lately?
You know what? It's new. That's what I like about it. It might seem like the same old thing because, Stone Cold became the CEO in the late 90s and took over. They really need to change. And, a lot of fans, I know they believe that, CM Punk had a shoot interview, but I don't believe in a million years that Vince McMahon would ever let anybody go out there and say something that Vince didn't want them to say. But I believe it was effective. I thought he did a great job, and I think what they're doing is very clever in my own mind, and I have to take my hat off to them. I believe that a lot of fans are really intrigued. They talk a lot about it on the internet, and that's a good thing.
I want to also ask you about Brock Lesnar, a man you've wrestled with in New Japan and in WWE, and possibly maybe fighting in the UFC one day. And I want to ask you about thoughts on the rumors that Brock might go to WWE for a brief time. Do you think that's a good idea for his career?
Yeah, you know what? I believe that whatever Brock does will be the best for Brock Lesnar, because Brock is Brock is very persistent about what he does. So if he is going to do it, he's going to get paid a lot of money, and it's going to benefit Brock Lesnar. And that's what I love about Brock. It's all about Brock. And I love the guy. He's one of my best friends, and I have a lot of respect for him. But, I know he's been having some, God forbid, but he's been having some physical problems. And I know that's been setting him back in UFC. But I wouldn't doubt if Brock ended up going back for a short period of time. But, Brock made his money. I know he's happy where he is in his life. I know he wouldn't want to do 5 or 10 fights, but whether he can or not, I wish him the best. But if he does go back to WWE, it'll be huge for the community.
All right, last thing I want to ask you now, is competing in MMA still on your radar?
Well, if I'm getting ready for the Olympics, obviously I'll be in pretty good shape to do that. That remains to be seen. I'm not going to make any more promises. I made 2 promises to Dana White, and I backed out, and it had to do with his terms, which I respected. One, you can't pro wrestle anymore, and the other one, the second time I went to him and I passed the UFC physical, he wanted me ready in 5 weeks, and I said, Dana, I need at least 3 to 6 months to get ready. And the contract he gave me was one of those contracts you don't want to refuse. It was a lot of money. So I respect Dana White, and I understand what he was trying to do, but I just didn't. I wanted to be at my best if I was going to do it, and I didn't think 5 weeks was long enough.
Now, when you spoke to Dana and he said 5 weeks, who do you have in mind as an opponent for you?
Well, he wanted me to be on Real Fighter with Kimbo, and he thought that it would be a great program. And he doesn't pay the fighters to be on that show; they have to earn a contract. But Dana, I won't tell you how much money, but he was going to pay me an incredible amount of money just to be on the show. And I agreed, and I thought we were going to start in maybe August, September, but he wanted to start in April.
All right, well, you guys who are listening at home can go check out Kurt Angle as well as Nick Nolte, Tom Hardy, and Joel Edgerton in Lionsgate's new MMA film, Warrior, which is coming out in September. Kurt, thanks for your time today.
Okay, thank you. Take care.